Welcome to True Crime Case Files, the podcast that delves into the most intriguing and perplexing criminal cases. In this episode, we explore the chilling story of a California throuple entangled in a web of love, betrayal, and murder. This case will leave you questioning who killed who. Our victim in this story is Casey McClintock, a 23-year-old Australian native from Perth who relocated to San Diego. Casey was an adventurous spirit who sought excitement in life. She met and joined a throuple, a polyamorous relationship, in her pursuit of unconventional love. Casey's journey began when she left her hometown of Perth behind, seeking new experiences and opportunities in sunny San Diego. In this vibrant coastal city, she was drawn to the allure of a non-traditional relationship. It was here that she crossed paths with Kyle Wanchuk and Nathan Davenatti, two individuals who shared her desire for a unique and open sexual connection. Kyle, 30, a tech entrepreneur with a passion for innovation, had a magnetic personality that drew Casey in. Nathan, 32, a local restaurant owner known for his culinary skills, added a touch of charm and sophistication to their dynamic. Together, the three formed a throuple, embracing a lifestyle that challenged societal and sexual norms. The trio's love blossomed against the backdrop of Carlsbad, a picturesque coastal community known for its stunning beaches and vibrant local scene. They were often seen exploring the quaint streets of the Carlsbad village, enjoying the local cuisine, and immersing themselves in the vibrant arts and culture scene. Their relationship seemed idyllic, a modern love story that defied conventions. However, beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect union, tension simmered. As the days grew warmer in June of 2011, so did the complexities of their relationship. The dynamics between Casey, Kyle, and Nathan became strained, with jealousy and resentment seeping into their once harmonious bond. The idyllic beaches of Carlsbad now mirrored the storm brewing within their throuple. Little did they know that the summer of 2011 would forever change their lives. On that fateful day, June 15th, tragedy struck, leaving Casey dead and the throuple shattered. It was a seemingly ordinary day in Carlsbad, California, on June 15, 2011. The sun was shining brightly, casting its warm glow over the picturesque coastal town. In this idyllic setting, tragedy would soon unfold, forever altering the lives of those involved. Inside the residence of the throuple, a polyamorous relationship that defied societal norms, tensions were brewing. Casey McClintock, a 23-year-old Australian native who had recently relocated to San Diego, found herself entangled in a complex web of love, betrayal, and murder. Little did Casey, Kyle, and Nathan know that this day would mark a turning point in their throuple, a tragic culmination of their troubled dynamic. It was Kyle who stumbled upon the horrifying scene that would forever haunt his nightmares. As he entered the bathroom, his heart sank at the sight before him. Casey's lifeless body lay motionless on the cold tiles. Shock and horror engulfed Kyle as he frantically dialed 911, his trembling hands struggling to hold the phone steady. The authorities were quickly dispatched to the scene, their sirens piercing the otherwise serene neighborhood. News of the gruesome discovery spread like wildfire, capturing the attention of the tight-knit community and the media at large. Local newspapers, such as the Carlsbad Chronicle, were quick to report the incident, speculating on the events that led to this tragic end. As investigators combed through the crime scene, meticulously collecting evidence and interviewing witnesses, the town of Carlsbad held its breath. The once peaceful streets now buzzed with speculation and fear. Who could have committed such a heinous act? Was it a crime of passion, or was there a darker motive at play? The year was 2011, when the true crime world was captivated by the trial of Casey Anthony. Against this backdrop, the investigation began, unraveling a complex tapestry of love, betrayal, and murder. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the truth remained elusive. The town of Carlsbad held its breath, waiting for justice to be served. The Carlsbad Police Department wasted no time in responding to the distressing scene. Detectives Louisa Gartrell and Joel Cabanatwan, seasoned investigators with a reputation for cracking tough cases, took charge of the investigation. As they entered the throuple's residence, a sense of unease hung in the air. The warm June sunlight filtered through the blinds, casting eerie shadows on the blood-stained walls. The bathroom, where the lifeless body of 23-year-old Casey McClintock lay, was a chilling sight. Bloodstains marred the pristine tiles, and bruises decorated her body like a macabre tapestry. The detectives meticulously combed through the evidence, photographing every detail to preserve the scene. Casey's autopsy revealed the horrifying extent of her injuries. The cause of death was determined to be a severe head injury, which had caused her to bleed out on the bathroom floor. The investigation team speculated that she had endured a brutal beating, the sheer violence of which sent shockwaves through the community. The detectives delved into Casey's life, seeking any clues that could shed light on her tragic demise. They discovered that she had recently relocated from Perth, Australia, to San Diego, California, in search of adventure and love. It was there that she became entangled in a throuple, a unique and unconventional polyamorous relationship. As the investigation unfolded, the media surrounding the case intensified their interest. Articles blared across the internet, capturing the attention of true crime forums. People were captivated by the sordid tale of love, betrayal, and murder that had unfolded in the idyllic town of Carlsbad. The detectives tirelessly pursued leads, interviewing friends, family, and acquaintances of the throuple members. They meticulously analyzed phone records, financial transactions, and social media profiles, hoping to uncover a motive or a potential suspect. The pressure to solve the case weighed heavily on their shoulders as the community demanded justice for Casey. In the midst of their investigation, the detectives stumbled upon a series of cryptic text messages exchanged between Casey and an unlisted number, possibly one of the throuple members. The messages hinted at tensions within the relationship, raising suspicions about possible motives for her untimely demise. With this newfound lead, the detectives redoubled their efforts, determined to bring the perpetrator to justice. Kyle Iwanchuk, a prominent member of the throuple, found himself at the center of a storm when he became the prime suspect in the tragic death of Casey McClintock. The 30-year-old tech entrepreneur's life took a dark turn as he faced intense scrutiny from the police and the media. During the police interrogation, Kyle maintained a calm demeanor, but his explanations left many unanswered questions. He claimed that Casey's death was a tragic accident that occurred during a session of rough sex. However, the investigators, led by Detective Louisa Gartrell and Detective Joel Cabanion, were determined to uncover the truth. As the investigation unfolded, the detectives delved into Kyle's background and personal life. They discovered that he and Casey had been involved in a polyamorous relationship, along with another member of the throuple. This unconventional love triangle added a layer of complexity to the case, leaving the detectives to question the dynamics and motivations within the relationship. The police meticulously combed through the crime scene, collecting evidence and analyzing every detail. Bloodstains and bruises adorned Casey's lifeless body, painting a gruesome picture of the brutal beating she had endured. The cause of death, a severe head injury, left no room for doubt that she had suffered a horrific fate. The media frenzy surrounding the case intensified as local news outlets picked up on the story, their stories capturing the public's attention. People across Carlsbad, California, were captivated by the unfolding drama, their curiosity piqued by the mysterious circumstances surrounding Casey's demise. As the investigation progressed, the detectives began to question Kyle's version of events. They sought to establish a timeline of the evening leading up to Casey's death, scrutinizing every minute detail. They interviewed witnesses, reviewed surveillance footage, and analyzed phone records, hoping to uncover any inconsistencies in Kyle's story. The pressure on Kyle mounted as the investigation continued. The media circus surrounding the case cast a dark cloud over his life, with reporters camping outside his residence and hounding him for comments. His once promising career as a tech entrepreneur seemed to fade into the background as the public fixated on his alleged involvement in the crime. With each passing day, the detectives inched closer to the truth, determined to bring justice to Casey McClintock and her grieving loved ones. The twists and turns in this tangled web of love, betrayal, and murder left everyone wondering, who killed Casey McClintock? Nathan Davenatti, a 32-year-old local restaurant owner and the third member of the throuple, was an eyewitness to the tragic events that unfolded on that fateful day in Carlsbad, California. As the investigators delved deeper into the case, they sought to uncover the truth behind Nathan's involvement and potential motive. During the intense interrogation, Nathan's emotions fluctuated between anger and fear, leaving the investigators puzzled. He provided a detailed account of the events leading up to Casey's untimely demise. According to Nathan, the day started like any other, with the trio enjoying breakfast at a popular local diner, the Sunrise Cafe. After breakfast, the throuple decided to spend the day at Carlsbad State Beach, a picturesque location known for its golden sands and crystal clear waters. They frolicked in the waves together, basking in the warm California sun. It seemed like a perfect day until tragedy struck. As the sun began to set, the trio returned to their residence. It was there that the events took a sinister turn. Nathan recounted that tensions were high, and a heated argument erupted between Kyle and Casey. The argument escalated, and it became apparent that the throuple was on the brink of collapse. That night, Nathan suggested they engage in a session of rough sex, something that they had done regularly before. He believed that by exploring their deepest desires, they might reignite the spark in their relationship. However, what started as an attempt to save their relationship quickly spiraled into a nightmare. Nathan claimed that Kyle became increasingly aggressive during the sexual encounter, disregarding Casey's pleas to stop. The atmosphere turned violent, and the bathroom became the battleground where love turned into something sinister. Nathan recounted the horrifying sight of Kyle beating Casey's head on the cold tiles, her once vibrant spirit extinguished forever. The investigators meticulously examined Nathan's account, cross-referencing it with the evidence found at the crime scene. They scoured the bathroom for any signs of struggle, searching for the truth amidst the chaos. The walls bore witness to the tragedy, with bloodstains and bruises serving as haunting reminders of the violence that had occurred. As the investigators continued their relentless pursuit of justice, they were faced with the daunting task of determining the credibility of Nathan's testimony. Was he a victim, coerced into participating in a deadly act? Or was he a willing participant, complicit in the demise of his lover? As the investigation into Casey McClintock's murder continued, a shocking turn of events unfolded on July 3, 2011. Under a cloudy sky, the police made a grim discovery near the Throuple's residence in Carlsbad, California. It was the lifeless body of Nathan Davenatti, the third member of the polyamorous relationship. Authorities were immediately called to the scene, and Detective Louisa Gartrell and Detective Joel Cabanat took charge of the investigation. The circumstances surrounding Nathan's death were puzzling. Was it suicide or murder? The investigators were determined to find the truth. The weather that day mirrored the somber mood of the investigation. The cloudy sky seemed to reflect the uncertainty surrounding Nathan's demise. The Pacific Ocean, usually a place of tranquility and beauty, now held the secrets to this perplexing case. The police meticulously combed through the evidence, searching for any clues that could shed light on what happened to Nathan. They discovered that he had been spending time alone near the water, contemplating the events that had unfolded in the throuple. But what drove him to such despair? Was it guilt over Casey's death? Or was there something more sinister at play? As news of Nathan's death spread, the media curiosity intensified. Local newspapers like the San Diego Union-Tribune and the Los Angeles Times covered the story, speculating on the possible connections between Nathan's death and Casey's murder. The community was left in shock, grappling with the unsettling reality that two lives had been lost in such a short span of time. The investigation into Nathan's death involved interviews with friends, family, and acquaintances, hoping to uncover any motive or potential suspects. The police also reached out to experts in forensic science to analyze the evidence found at the scene and determine the cause of death. Despite their best efforts, the investigators were unable to definitively determine whether Nathan's death was a result of suicide or foul play. The case remained open, leaving many questions unanswered and the community on edge. The mysterious deaths of Casey McClintock and Nathan Davenatti in the summer of 2011 shook the quiet coastal town of Carlsbad to its core. The investigation into these tragic events would continue, with the hope that justice would ultimately be served. The truth behind the chilling murder case in Carlsbad, California, finally came to light, revealing a web of deceit and betrayal. After months of diligent investigation, the police were able to piece together the puzzle and bring the perpetrator to justice. It was Kyle Iwanchuk, a 30-year-old tech entrepreneur and member of the Throuple, who was revealed as the probable mastermind behind both killings. The evidence against him was overwhelming, painting a picture of a cold and calculated murderer. Kyle's motive for the first murder, that of Casey McClintock, was driven by jealousy and a desire for control. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that Kyle had meticulously planned Casey's murder, using the guise of rough sex to cover his tracks. The police discovered a trail of messages between Kyle and Casey, indicating a growing tension and a deep-seated resentment. On the fateful day of June 15, 2011, the atmosphere in Carlsbad was warm and sunny, with locals enjoying the start of summer. The Throuple's residence, a modest house nestled in a quiet neighborhood, became the scene of a horrific crime. Kyle stumbled upon Casey's lifeless body in the bathroom, his shock and horror genuine, or so it seemed. Detective Louisa Gartrell and Detective Joel Cabanat led the investigation, meticulously combing through the crime scene for clues. Bloodstains and bruises covered Casey's body, evidence of a brutal beating. The cause of death, a severe head injury, led to her tragic demise on the bathroom floor. The police interrogated Kyle extensively, probing his motives and actions leading up to the fatal incident. His demeanor during the interrogation was calm, almost rehearsed, as he provided explanations that left many questions unanswered. The investigators, aware of the gravity of the case, pursued every lead with determination. Nathan Davenatti, the third member of the throuple and a 32-year-old local restaurant owner, played a crucial role in unraveling the truth. He witnessed Casey's death unfold and accused Kyle of going too far during rough sex, essentially beating Casey to death. The police subjected Nathan to intense interrogation, seeking to uncover his involvement and potential motive. Nathan's responses varied from anger to fear, leaving the investigators puzzled. As the investigation progressed, a shocking turn of events occurred. On July 3, 2011, under a cloudy sky, the police discovered Nathan Davenatti's lifeless body in the Pacific Ocean near the throuple's residence. The circumstances surrounding Nathan's death remained enigmatic, with investigators unable to determine if it was suicide or murder. However, the mounting evidence against Kyle ultimately led to his arrest. The police, through tireless efforts and meticulous investigation, were able to connect the dots and expose his dark side. Surprisingly, when apprehended, Kyle showed no signs of surprise, as if he had anticipated his eventual capture. The revelation of Kyle's likely guilt devastated Casey's family back in Australia, who had held out hope for justice. The truth, though painful, provided them with a sense of closure. The community of Carlsbad, shaken by the heinous crimes committed within their midst, found solace in the fact that the mystery had finally been solved. The trial of Kyle Iwanchuk, the tech entrepreneur accused of murdering his throuple partner Casey McClintock and possibly killing another partner Nathan Davenatti, began on June 6, 2012 at the San Diego Superior Court. The prosecution, led by attorney Lisa Lopez Lambley, argued that Kyle had planned and executed Casey's murder on June 15, 2011, under the pretext of rough sex. They presented forensic evidence, such as DNA, fingerprints, and blood spatter analysis, to link Kyle to the crime scene. The prosecution claimed that Kyle was motivated by jealousy and a desire to control Casey, who was unhappy in the throuple and wanted to leave. They also suggested that Kyle had a role in Nathan's death, who was found dead in the ocean on July 3, 2011. They alleged that Kyle had either killed Nathan himself or hired someone to do it, fearing that Nathan would expose him. The defense, represented by attorney Oliver Damandy, challenged the prosecution's case, casting doubt on the reliability and validity of the evidence. They argued that Kyle had no reason to kill Casey, whom he loved and cared for. They portrayed Kyle as a successful and generous tech entrepreneur who had donated to various charities and causes, such as the Red Cross and the San Diego Zoo. They also pointed out that Kyle had cooperated with the police and had not tried to flee or hide. They maintained that Casey's death was a tragic accident, resulting from consensual rough sex that went too far. They also dismissed the prosecution's theory on Nathan's death, stating that there was no proof that Kyle had anything to do with it. They suggested that Nathan had committed suicide due to his guilt and grief over Casey's death. The trial lasted for 3 weeks, attracting media attention and public interest. The victim's family, who had flown from Australia to attend the trial, expressed their anguish and outrage at Kyle's actions. They hoped that Kyle would be convicted and sentenced to life in prison, without parole. They also sought answers and justice for Nathan's death, which remained unsolved. The jury, composed of 9 women and 3 men, deliberated for 2 days before reaching a verdict. They found Kyle guilty of second-degree murder, but not guilty of first-degree murder. They also did not find him responsible for Nathan's death. The judge, Honorable R. L. Franklin, sentenced Kyle to 2 years in prison, with the possibility of parole after 1 year. The sentence was based on the judge's discretion, taking into account Kyle's lack of criminal record, his cooperation with the police, and his remorse. The sentence sparked outrage and disbelief among the victim's family, the prosecution, and the public. They felt that the sentence was too lenient and did not reflect the gravity of the crime. They questioned whether justice was truly served or if Kyle had gotten away with murder. The trial of Kyle Iwanchuk, the murderer of Casey McClintock and the suspected killer of Nathan Davenatti, ended with a controversial verdict and a lenient sentence. The aftermath of the trial left a lasting impact on the lives of those who were involved in the case. The suspects, the police investigators, and the victim's family each faced their own challenges and struggles as they tried to cope with the trauma and the loss. The events that unfolded in the summer of 2011 would haunt them for years to come, changing them in profound ways. Kyle Iwanchuk, the only surviving member of the throuple, was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 2 years in prison. However, he only served 6 months of his sentence due to the overcrowding of the California prison system. He was released on parole in December 2012 under the supervision of a parole officer. He moved to Silicon Valley, where he resumed his career as a tech entrepreneur. He founded a new company called Awanchuk Technologies, which specialized in developing virtual reality and augmented reality applications. He also started a podcast called The Throuple Life, where he discussed topics related to sex and relationships, especially polyamory. He claimed that he had learned from his mistakes and that he wanted to help others explore their sexuality and love in a safe and respectful way. He also expressed his remorse and sympathy for the families of Casey and Nathan, whom he said he still loved and missed. His podcast gained a loyal following, but also attracted criticism and controversy from those who accused him of exploiting and trivializing the deaths of his former partners. The story of the throuple entangled in a web of love, betrayal, and murder in Carlsbad, California, will forever remain a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. True Crime Case Files will continue to bring you the most captivating and thought-provoking cases, revealing the intricate tapestry of human nature in its darkest moments. Hey, true crime case solvers, interested in more real-life murder mysteries? Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. And do you have any thoughts about this case or have a case of your own you'd like us to investigate? Leave us a comment. Until then, stay safe, true crime case solvers.